thank you, and greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. This is C.P. McGregor speaking. Welcome to the La Rosa Hollywood Theater of Stars, radio's greatest daytime dramatic program. Every day, a complete 30-minute drama from Hollywood. Every day, a famous Hollywood star. Today, our star is Edna Best in a light comedy titled Neighbors. Act one in just a moment, but first, a word from our announcer, Wendell Niles, for La Rosa.
Have you discovered that wonderful special La Rosa flavor? That luscious La Rosa flavor that comes exclusively from the cream of the great new durum wheat crop? It's at your grocer's now. The most delicious macaroni, spaghetti, and egg noodles you ever tasted. Because La Rosa's got the cream of the crop. You see, La Rosa is the world's largest user of fine durum wheat semolina. So it's natural that leading durum millers offer La Rosa first choice of Super Select #1 cream of the crop semolina. Prove it yourself. Tonight, make the La Rosa three-way quality test. See, taste, compare. See La Rosa's natural golden color, the natural sunshine of the world's finest semolina. Taste La Rosa's luscious flavor, richer, smoother, more delicious, with that just right, firm yet tender texture. Compare La Rosa with any other macaroni, spaghetti, or egg noodles you ever tasted. Once you try La Rosa, you'll never serve anything but La Rosa. Now, once again, our host, C.P. McGregor.
And now the curtain rises on Act One of Neighbors, starring Edna Best. In the middle of the next block on Elm Street stand the respective houses of the Dennons and the Strikers. Now, the Denon house is a very gay and wholly irresponsible thing of white frame and blue shingles and dotted Swiss curtains that have been shamelessly winking its windows at the Striker house next door, a very prim and proper house of conservative Boston brown, whose narrow leaded windows stare with disdain at the brazen hussy in her short yard skirts of daffodils and jonquils. And in this gay and wholly irresponsible thing of white frame and blue shingles, a very gay and wholly irresponsible Louise flutters about the table laid for four.
Now let's see. Napkin, one that doesn't match, 3 butter knives, and I'll use a steak knife. Cover up the mended place with a centerpiece, and poof! Abba dabba. Whoa, wait a minute. Wine glasses, only 3. No good. Gotta have 4. Tommy! Tommy! Deaf dodo bird. Gotta yodel.
What the devil you want, you noisy, raucous wench?
Tommy, darling, stop scraping your ugly face and tell me what about the wine glass.
What's the matter with the wine glass?
Well, in words of one syllable, no catching 4 wine glasses. Only catching 3.
Okay, I'll drink my vintage out of the coffee pot.
Don't be crass and stupid. Coffee pots went out with bustles. And you can't drink it out of the bottle.
Say, what happened to the 6 I gave you for your dowry? Put them in hock?
No, broken. Mary did it when I was sick. Like she threw the 4th butter knife out in the garbage.
A woman should ought to be hung.
You can take care of hanging her tomorrow, Tommy, but what about the wine glass tonight?
You should go next door and borrow one from the Strikers. Tell them you want to use it for an eye cup. I got the pink eye.
Brilliant, Tommy. You're a genius. And while I'm gone, don't get any fanciful notions about using my perfume for shaving lotion. Use the iodine.
That's the very gay and wholly irresponsible house of the Denhams. And now, the very prim and proper house of conservative Boston Brown, the Strikers.
Humphrey.
Oh, yes, Jenny.
Is it any wonder that the world is in its deplorable condition, what with its mighty host of irresponsible creatures? We were discussing it at the forum only this afternoon. Mrs. Vanderpyle was saying that there ought to be some curriculum set up for the younger married couples. Some course of education to teach them their responsibilities to society.
Yes.
What, Humphrey?
What?
Just what?
Oh, yes.
Take, for example, those poor children next door, the Denhams. Frivolous, here today, gone tomorrow. Eat, drink, and be merry. Where will they be in 5 years, 10 years? I said where, Humphrey?
I don't know. 48 states.
Humphrey, will you please put down that book and listen to me?
Oh, yes. What is it?
Where will they be? I said. No plans for the future, no putting away for the rainy day, merely grasshoppers.
Now, that's odd, Jenny. Why should they have grasshoppers and we not?
I'm not talking literally, Humphrey. I'm talking figuratively.
Oh, yes. I was afraid we'd have to call the exterminators.
Well, I declare. The doorbell, Humphrey. Who in the world?
Yes, I'll go and see.
Oh, it might be the Reverend Talmadge, Humphrey. He did say something about dropping in one evening.
Oh, well, good evening.
Good evening. I'm Mrs. Denham from next door. Good evening.
Yes, how do you do?
Who is it, Humphrey?
It's Mrs. Denham from next door, Jenny. Won't you come in, please?
Oh, no, thank you. No, I really don't dare to come. I mean, there are people coming to dinner, and I'm a beggar, you see.
A beggar, my dear?
Oh, yes. Only not alms or backsheesh. You see, I've just broken a wine glass, which leaves us only 3, and there's going to be 4, and, could you lend us a wine glass? We'd be so careful and so grateful.
Good evening, Mrs. Denham. Did I hear you mention a wine glass?
Oh, yes, a wine glass. Good evening, Mrs. Stryker.
Well, do come in, my dear, before you take cold. You're shivering.
Am I? Oh, thank you.
Taking cold is such a needless thing, Mrs. Denham. And now, the wine glasses. I can let you have a dozen and a half?
A dozen and a... Oh, no, Mrs. Stryker. No, 1 will be plenty.
1? But how many of you are there?
4.
4? And you only have 3 glasses? My dear, you shouldn't let your stock become so low. I always keep at least 2 dozen on hand. I'll give you half a dozen. But do come in and sit down. You'll wear yourself out standing there.
Well, thank you.
This way, Mrs. Denham. And you'll find this chair very comfortable, I'm sure. Humphrey?
Yes.
Go upstairs to my closet and bring down my fox cape for Mrs. Denham.
Why, yes, Jenny.
Oh, but Mrs. Stryker, I
You
really...
shouldn't go about in the evening with nothing over your shoulders, Mrs. Denham. You can bring the cape back in the morning.
Oh, well, I really...
Now go, Humphrey, go.
Oh,
go.
yes, I'm going.
And I'll be right back with the glasses, Mrs. Denham.
Oh, I'm Lazarus. Tell me you're going to have a fit, the conniption kind. Mrs. Stryker is the one who moves the stars from their courses. And I'm bad.
Oh, is this the cape you were...
Oh, yes, she's getting the glasses.
Well, I guess this must be the one. It is a cape, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Well, I don't know a cape from an iron-handled pump. Here you are.
Thank you. But I really don't
Now,
know.
here are the glasses, Mrs. Denham, and a tray to go with them. And there's no hurry about bringing them back. Oh, I see you've got the cape. Let me fasten it round your shoulder.
Oh, but Mrs. Stryker, I really
Cold
don't
can be
need...
extremely dangerous, my dear. Now, there. Now, can I lend you anything else? Doilies, dessert spoons, extra dinner plates?
Oh, no, thank you. I've got, we've got... I mean, well, you've really been too kind. Thank you, and I'll bring everything back in the morning. Good night, Mrs. Stryker.
Good night.
And thank you again, Mrs. Stryker. Well, good night.
Well, I'll see you to the door, my dear. Well, she positively ran out of the door. You know, Humphrey, I just don't understand such people.
Well, I don't know. She seems pleasant enough.
Well, I'm not speaking of pleasantness, Humphrey. I'm speaking of their circumstances. Coming over here in the night air without a wrap. That dress she was wearing, it must have cost $75 at least. That was real lace and hand embroidery. And then to have only 3 wine glasses.
Mm-hmm.
No, Humphrey, I just can't understand such people.
Great leaping lollipops. Behold my dizzy helpmate. Get her.
Oh, shut up.
Fine expression of endearment, you little pirate. Come on. How'd you do it?
Do what?
Go over to the Strikers for a wine glass and return with a jewelry store and a fur emporium.
Oh, tell me I'm sick of it. I'm up to here. Even up to here. Always contriving, baiting doom, borrowing from neighbors, being in debt. You should just see Mrs. Stryker's house.
Takes a hunk of stirring in a house to make it
Oh,
all...
phooey. Tell me I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of my house, and I'm ashamed of...
Well, that gives me an idea. Instead of playing bridge tonight when the Fosters come over, we'll all sit around and be ashamed of ourselves and confess our sins. Yeah, we can beat our heads against the wall where the radio used to be before they came and took it back.
Are you certain that you locked the front door, Humphrey?
Yes, I'm positive.
must you drop your shoes like that, Humphrey?
Huh? Oh, I never thought of it.
Listen to that racket from the Denham house. I tell you, I just don't understand those people, Humphrey. When we have dinner parties, there are no such carryings on.
No.
The inconsistency of it all. Borrowing wine glasses, running about with no wrap on, and laughing about the whole matter until the small hours of the night. Humphrey, I've made up my mind. Yes, Humphrey, I've made up my mind. I'm going to do something for those people. As a good neighbor, it's my duty to make them realize their responsibilities to society.
The curtain falls on Act One of Neighbors, starring Edna Best. Our grand star and our distinguished cast of La Rosa radio players return shortly for Act Two of Neighbors.
Ah, CP, they love La Rosa.
Who loves La Rosa?
Neighbors love La Rosa. My neighbors, your neighbors. In fact, everybody loves La Rosa. But what started me on this, the other night we had some neighbors over, and my wife served macaroni with ham sauce a la Rosa. You should have heard them rave. Why, for blocks around, neighbors heard about it and kept calling my wife for the recipe. Actually, all you need, ladies, is La Rosa Grade A macaroni or spaghetti, a little leftover ham, and a rich vegetable sauce. There's the dish that'll thrill everybody. Economical, too. For the detailed recipe and 100 other wonderful La Rosa treats, consult your La Rosa cookbook. Or if you've not gotten yours yet, send for your big 64-page recipe book today. It's free. Write La Rosa. That's L-A, capital R-O-S-A, care of this station. Now prove La Rosa's superiority yourself. See, taste, compare. See La Rosa's natural golden color, the pure sunshine tone of the world's finest semolina. Taste that luscious La Rosa flavor, richer, smoother, more delicious, made in the unhurried old world way for that just right, firm yet tender texture. Compare La Rosa with any other macaroni, spaghetti, or egg noodles you ever tasted. Once you try La Rosa, you'll never serve anything but La Rosa. Extra nutritional value because all La Rosa products are enriched with extra vitamins and minerals. Help safeguard your health. You'll like La Rosa. It's America's largest selling brand. Now here's C.P. McGregor.
The curtain rises on Act Two of Neighbors, starring Edna Best. In the very prim and proper house of conservative Boston brownstone next door, Jenny Stryker is sitting in a bow-legged Victorian chair with her brows all tangled up like a skein of drop-stitch knitting and a purse string drawn tight around her mouth. For hours now, a precision army of well-equipped words has been mobilizing behind those lips, ready to sally forth against all and sundry like a plague of locusts. And her left foot is rhythmically tapping out a vitriolic code, heard only by a group of frowning ancestors imprisoned in their gilt frames about the walls. A porcelain figurine grins impishly from the mantel, and suddenly thinks better of it. Even the cold hands of the Cheshire clock are quivering a bit in fright, and then, thank heaven, the static is suddenly broken by a hoarse jangle of the doorbell, which has long been suffering from laryngitis. Jenny Stryker is visibly startled, and the storm is postponed as she goes to the door. The porcelain figurine sighs with relief and grins again, and all the reflections in the mirror relax once more as the paneled front door swings open, and there is Spring Fragrance saying,
Morning, Mrs. Stryker. I brought back your wine glasses and the cake.
Oh, won't you come in?
Oh, well, I really shouldn't. I haven't even started my housework yet this morning. And you should see my kitchen. My sink's brimming with dishes.
Surely you can come in for a minute, Mrs. Denham.
Well, all right, thank you.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Mrs. Denham, please forgive me for being so indelicately personal, but there have been rumors about the neighborhood.
About the Denhams expecting?
Yes.
Oh, our neighborhood's wonderful. Tommy swears he heard about it for the first time from the butcher.
Well, you should be very happy, Mrs. Denham.
Should I? Well, to make a horrible confession, every time I think about it, I get scared. And it's got Tommy so rattled he's got his fingernails chewed clear up to his elbows.
You're making lots of plans, I imagine.
No. No, Tommy says there's not much sense in planning. Because as sure as you plan on it being a boy, it'll be a girl, and vice versa. We're just going to wait until it arrives and then start from scratch.
You're not starting a lay yet?
Oh, just a few odds and ends. We're really waiting until Tommy gets his play done.
Play?
Uh-huh. Tommy's got an idea that's a Broadway cinch if he ever gets it down on paper. He swears it'll make a fortune if he can sell it.
You're depending upon a play that isn't written or sold yet, Mrs. Denham.
Oh, yes, we're always doing that. Of course, this time, Tommy's gone all out. He's even burning candles to see... You know, who's this?
I see.
I suppose our name should be haphazard instead of Denham, but Tommy and I have never worried much about the future. We always wait until it bangs on our front door before we lay another place and put another quart of water in the soup.
Mrs. Denham, it isn't my intention to meddle, but with a baby coming, doesn't the future become something to anticipate, to plan for?
Well, yes, I guess it does. But the only way I can keep from being frightened is to not think about it.
I see.
Sounds silly, I guess, but I don't think anyone understands until they've been through it.
No. No, of course not. Thank you for returning the glass and the cape, Mrs. Denham.
The glass and... Oh, yes, of course. I mean, thank you for lending them to me. Well, bye, Mrs. Stryker.
Goodbye, Mrs. Denham.
Oh, Jenny. Jenny. Jenny, what in the world are you doing in here in the dark? Did you hear me knock? Oh, Jenny, my dear, what is it? You're crying.
Oh, please leave me alone, Humphrey.
Oh, the chest of memories again. Well, you'd better close it again and come downstairs, Jenny.
Our baby was to be born in July, Humphrey. All these were ready and put away by March. The crib was in the nursery. We'd even started a bank account for it.
Now, Jenny.
God had plans for our child, Humphrey. Our child that we wanted so badly. That he should breathe but a moment and then die.
Oh, now, why all this again, my dear?
The Denhams are expecting a baby.
Well?
A baby that will come into the world with no one ready for him, whose very survival will depend upon a play that isn't written yet. And a baby born to parents not even grateful for their privilege and totally unaware of their responsibilities. How will they take care of him, Humphrey? Feed him, clothe him, educate him. People who live in a house of debt, of chance, of borrowing from neighbors, a cup of flour, a wine glass.
Oh, now, Jenny.
Oh, why should it be, Humphrey, that we, who could give a child everything in the world, every opportunity, that our child must die, while the Denhams, who have nothing... Why, Humphrey, why?
Now, Jenny. The Denhams are only our neighbors, and their lives belong to them, not to us. Whatever they are, whatever they do, is none of our business.
I'm not concerned with what they are or do, Humphrey. But I am concerned about the life of a helpless, unfortunate child coming into this world, into a family with no inclination nor conception of caring for it. I'm going to send all these things, the crib and the toys that were meant for our child, over to Mrs. Denham.
Well, that's a very neighborly idea, Jenny. I think it's very nice.
Neighborly and nice, Humphrey. Oh, no. I'm not being neighborly. I'm not trying to be nice. I'm not a hypocrite. No, Humphrey, I'm only trying to do my duty.
That woman's an unadulterated fuddy-duddy, and with a B1 deficiency, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Now, Tommy, temper.
Horseradish. What the devil does she think we are, Flotsam and Jepson? Fugitives from a charitable institution? No, by Gadfrey. Richard Foster Denham or Sarah Bancroft Denham isn't going to be born as WPA project number 672. No, sir.
Oh, but Tommy...
No, sir. A gold-embossed crib, hand-embroidered doodads, a sterling silver set of brushes, comforters filled with peach fuzz. No, sir, send them back. Heave them over the fence. Tell her no thanks and go climb a tree. When the Denhams get down that low, I'll stop being a playwright and take in Washington, and that's final, period. No, exclamation point.
Oh, stop ranting about and flinging your arms like an hysterical semaphore, Tommy.
No. Richard Foster Denham, if it's a him, isn't going to start out in life wearing somebody else's pants.
Will you please listen to me for a moment, Tommy?
If it's in rebuttal, no.
Mrs. Stryker isn't trying to be charitable, Tommy.
The heck she isn't. She's being the original foundation for waifs.
She's not even trying to be generous. What she's really doing is her duty.
Duty? You mean... What are you trying... Are you... Louise.
I'm not going to send any of these things back to Mrs. Stryker, Tommy. I couldn't. You just don't understand her like I do, darling. She's not doing us a favor. We're doing her one. Only she doesn't know it yet. Mrs. Stryker? Mrs. Stryker? Yes? Won't you come over and see my baby? Everyone in the whole neighborhood has seen him but you. And if you don't come over pretty soon, I'll begin to think you don't want to see him. Won't you come over? I'm just going to bathe him.
It looks terribly dangerous, Mrs. Denham. Mightn't he get soap in his eyes?
Oh, sometimes he does. But he prefers to eat it. Oh, Phil, darling.
He's so tiny and fragile looking.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't break easily. Oopsie daisy, sweet. There, now. I'm going to get you all dry.
I never saw my baby. He breathed only once and was gone.
Oh, dear. I forgot his nightgown in his bottle. Will you hold him for a minute while I get...
Oh, I don't
think... There we are, there. Go to your Aunt Jenny, sweetheart. There. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, baby. Baby, did you hear what your mother said? I'm not just Mrs. Stryker from next door. I'm your Aunt Jenny. You're really and truly Aunt Jenny. When I sent you all those things before you were born, I thought it was just my duty. Even the soups I sent your mother, Louise. I thought that was my duty, too, but... Oh, I was so dreadfully wrong, baby. I was just a miserable lady who shut herself up in a very prim and proper house. I was Mrs. Stryker who lived next door. And now, I'm your Aunt Jenny.
I guess you thought I was never coming back. There, I'll take him now. Was he a good boy?
Oh, yes. Yes, he was a very good boy.
Come on, darling. Dinner time and then to sail away in a silver boat.
I'd better go now.
Jenny?
Yeah?
We'd appreciate it an awful much if you and Mr. Stryker would come over for dinner tonight. Tommy sold his play and we're celebrating.
Do you mean that you'd like us to help you celebrate?
Well, of course. Who else? Please say you'll come.
Oh, well, of course we'd come, and thank you very much. And Louise.
Yes?
Would you like me to bring the wine glass?
By George, Jenny, I haven't had such a good time in years. You know, those Denhams are real people. And I haven't seen you laugh so much in years.
Yes, I know, Humphrey. How very well I know.
And what was the idea of taking that wine glass over? Why, they had dozens of their own.
Yes, I know. They didn't really need it, but Louise asked me to bring it. I think I understand.
A woman's reason, I suppose. Jenny, what's happened to all the ashtrays?
Oh, don't bother, dear. Just drop them on the floor. You know, they say cigar ashes are good for the moths.
And so the curtain falls on Act 2 of Neighbors, starring Edna Best. I'll be back in a moment, but first, here's your announcer, Wendell Niles, for La Rosa.
See, taste, compare. Prove to yourself the superiority of La Rosa macaroni spaghetti egg noodles. Tonight, make the three-way La Rosa quality test. See La Rosa's natural golden color, the pure sunshine color of the world's finest semolina, the cream of the new durum wheat harvest. Taste that luscious La Rosa flavor, richer, smoother, more delicious with a just right, firm yet tender texture. Compare La Rosa with any other macaroni, spaghetti, or egg noodles you ever tasted. Once you try La Rosa, you'll never serve anything but La Rosa. Look for the big red rose on every package. Get La Rosa, America's largest selling brand. For real economy, remember it's a full pound. Now, once again, our host, C.P. McGregor.
Well, Edna, Jenny Stryker wasn't such a bad person after all. If she could have only foreseen what was in store for her in the immediate future, this story would have had a much different ending. Now, speaking of immediate futures, Edna, and ladies and gentlemen, there's one thing that all of us can foresee. That is, tomorrow here in our La Rosa Hollywood Theater. We know that beautiful Marjorie Reynolds will be our star, and we know that the story Stolen Honeymoon is one that you won't want to miss. Be sure to join us. Until tomorrow, then, thanks for listening, and cheerio from Hollywood.